Times consumed in great despair breeds greatness and opportunity. And opportunity is what we have here today. I stand before you in these final hours, not as a president or as a politician. No. I stand next to you today armed, preparing for a battle. Never before has the fate of humanity been threatened in such a way, and never before has the fate of humanity been subject to such greatness. The way of life that we hold on to with the white knuckles is slipping from our fingers. Greed has taken on the shape of men, and dictators have risen to power. They speak of freedom but barricade themselves in. They create technology but they remain powerless. Because to prevail, nations cannot be fueled by gluttony. At some point, after the money and the power and the land has been exhausted, and it will be, where will greed turn to for food? It consumes itself, its own people, its own fate. Dictators must die and then surrender their power. By greed we will not be consumed. To fear we will never succumb. You look at me and I can see it in your eyes. Behind the fear, I can see love for each other and love for democracy. That is why we shall never perish, because unlike greed, love can never wither. It isn't manufactured by the promise of more. It is grown from the bottom of every pure and beating heart. The very yearnings of humanity cry out for the brother and sisterhood of all people. Behind every general, there is an army. Behind every leader, there are those whose loyalty will exist long after they are dead in the ground. Tomorrow the day will come when that loyalty must be tested. For some of you, that test will be easy, but for others, I know what I ask of you is difficult. Perhaps even some of you are ready to give in the hopes that life can be prolonged. But I must tell you now, the life you have grown to cherish will no longer exist. Something evil will take its place. Hope will end the moment you trade in freedom for your life. And when you are old and lying in your beds, will you look back on this moment and wonder, when did hope die? Will you wonder what might have happened if for one moment you put aside the fear of death and instead fought to preserve life? People die, it is the only certainty. Will you choose to fade into the darkness while dictators thrive? Or will you choose to leave this world consumed in flames, incinerating oppression and tyranny? Will your grandchildren be able to go to school and walk down the street and look out a window to see the shining freedom you created? Or will they look out to see iron bars and ask you why the birds don't sing? What will you say then? This life can be free and beautiful, but for as long as greed exists, there will be men clawing to the top of a broken ladder. We will not become slaves of tyranny. We will never surrender to fear, for as long as we fight back, oppression can never win. As long as one man, woman, or child remains with the taste of freedom on their lips, hope can never perish. That is all we need here, the taste of liberty in a world bitter from greed and silence. If you use that hunger to fight, and fight we must, then I have no fear. We are creatures evolved from wild animals. We are as comfortable in cages as wolves are. So I ask of you, not as a president or as a politician, but as a human being, will you fight with me? Will you take my hand and face whatever enemy awaits us? Tonight we fall asleep citizens of a free world, but will you awake tomorrow morning to ensure that every morning after that, men and women can feel the sunrise of a new day and look forward to a life where they choose how to live, and live they will.